Hello and welcome back to LSL's coverage of LUTI. I am Brush. On the mic with me is Kitsune. How you doing?
Hello, Brush. I am doing very well on this night for me. And we have a later match, but again, a late match is better than no match to watch, I feel.
Yeah, for sure. Well, either way, we're getting going here. Sea.I.A versus Killjoys. What are your thoughts on these two teams?
I think this is going to be a close match. From what I've heard, Sea.I.A has been an opponent I have personally fought on my team's Suffidence. And they are a very fun, I will even just say they're even a fun opponent to fight. It can go either way, I feel, depending on how these teams are currently seated in LUTI. And being seen Division 5, we might see a lot of meta picks, or we might see some very odd comps. But again, the comps doesn't matter most of the times if a team knows how to play those comps very well.
For sure. You know, Sea.I.A, a previous LSL winner, they have proven themselves strong, but haven't had quite the greatest showing in lowing since then. Killjoys, on the other hand, have had some good bracket results. So yeah, certainly some close sets. Tower control and Starfish main stage. For me, I think the most important thing is watching those flanks, making sure you're moving on the sides and have your teammates supporting that. I don't know if you have any other thoughts.
Yes, I think if either team throws in a charger, which I would probably expect it, definitely a Stingray. I think the problem is where is that charger going to set up after that first checkpoint? Because if after they get past the first checkpoint, the enemy snipe, bunker, whatever you call it, is going to be almost useless unless you start your push. And here we see a Nautilus and a Remix. Is that a custom blaster? Okay,
I'm kind of custom blaster.
Okay, I'm slightly biased towards Killjoys right now.
Sure, but I mean, as you said, you know, comps shouldn't matter too much as long as these teams aren't playing. We see the Blob taking a strong position at mid here, just tossing these bubbles back, trying to force everyone around. You see the K-Shot being a little bit displaced there, and the Nautilus going down. An unfortunate early down.
And wow, that's almost a white. That's basically a full white. And
all of a sudden, you see 3 down.
Back to these comps. Going back to when I made that motion about the custom blaster, you really have to think about the comps for one pulling out a custom blaster. As someone who's pockets it, you definitely need that paint to help them as the blaster campaign. And as we can see, we have that paint power through the splash and the blobber.
Okay, we see the Blob pressuring top left there, forcing that Nautilus a little bit out of position, who were the original opening pick there. But with 2 down and the inkjet coming out for Sea.I.A, Killjoys is going to want to try to continue this push the best they can. We see the Remix is trying to stay alive on tower there, that they ultimately go down, not being able to force tower. And that looks like the end of the push for Killjoys, but still a strong showing, getting to that first checkpoint and having a demanding start on that snipe.
That's true. Like I said, snipe is going to be a major key. Even though there really isn't a... Oh wait, there is a Remix on both sides. So they're running a double. I just noticed they're running double splatling on Sea.I.A.
Sure. But here we see the Blob doing its strong showing here, forcing that street, and then immediately using that bomb rush, getting rid of their backline. So Killjoys is doing a great job controlling this open area. Now we see the Blob terrorizing all the way up in pit with another bomb rush coming out. I think one of the important things here is making sure you don't get your opponent to hold top left. And so we see the bomb rush coming out, and they're going to be able to get that pick on the Zap and then another pick on the Nautilus there. And they're going to be able to get through this checkpoint and possibly push even farther. The inkjet coming out along with another bomb rush. And now they're looking to try to secure a KO.
Yeah, I could definitely see this being a KO match, or if not, definitely a Killjoy wins. And something I noticed is the Blob's definitely using Thermal Link. Before they got the double kill a bit earlier, I did notice a little silhouette. So Thermal Link on Blob, not an uncommon sight. So this looks to be a knockout as they get through the third checkpoint. And 3, 2, 1, there it is.
A beautiful triple kill by the Blob there at the end, getting anyone out of lights from top left and then immediately following it up with a nice pick on the Nautilus there. Just doing a great job controlling area, getting paint down. So I think certainly a key role for Killjoys there. But I don't think we're gonna see a Blob on every map, you know? It's certainly map mode specific, and so Sea.I.A might have an opportunity here to bounce back and be able to fight it.
Yeah, I definitely think the Blob was probably one of the crucial features in that match. I'm not saying it was a pure carry, but the amount of pressure applied on main stage is what helped it give them that KO. And next is going to be Shipyard on Rainmaker, which is not a... I've heard some people not like this map, but I'll admit, it was one of my favorite maps back when I used to main E-Leader. So I do have some slight favoritism towards this map.
Sure, Rainmaker, Search, and Shipyard. I mean, the fast push on top left is a little bit risky if your opponent has good splash damage or good, you know, getting able to control that choke point, especially when the spinner is up. So not the safest push, but right side, you know, significantly slower. It's going to take a couple wipes if you want to really push that way safely. But I think something important here that we're going to be able to see is a stronger lockout showing from either of these teams. That if you can get a strong lead, just being able to hold the Rainmaker at mid and just not let your opponent into the zone area is super important. So I think this is going to be our first opportunity to get a taste of how these teams approach a lockout.
That is true. Something else I would also mention is I would probably find going the full right side CD probably one of the safest ways, as yes, it might be a lot slower, but sometimes when you get that Rainmaker stuck on the top left, that can be really hard to get down. Even if you grab it, you're probably you could get killed up there, as there might be a leftover enemy or just a weapon with the wrong enough range. So even though left is probably the faster route to take, it's also the most awkward route to take if you lose the Rainmaker up there.
Sure, but you know, with just points up top left, being able to get a demanding lead, that might be important. In the lobby, we see CIA taking a moment to ready up here, but they ready up all together, and it looks like they're ready to go. So Rainmaker and Surgeon Shipyard. Killjoys is up 1-0 in the set. Let's hop into it.
Yeah, so like I said, the right side if you're defending, left side on the attack, it's going to be all up to the team who goes. And now we see the K-Pro, and it's the same comp from Killjoys.
Right, they saw that blob working out, and I think they decided to keep it, especially with its popping power. But CIA opting for a similar comp, at least, just switching out that remix for a mini, wanting to go a little bit more aggressive. We see the K-Pro immediately pressuring that blob, and they're going to find the pick, though the blaster is pressuring them back, but they're going to be able to stay alive here and hopefully be able to extend these picks. We see the ones Killjoys member starting in the pit there. The blaster's going to overextend here, go down to the Nautilus, and the Nautilus is going to look for a chain here. They're going to get armor and missiles coming out, and they're going to try to get their first push with the remix going down.
Yeah, I definitely think the blaster probably took him off guard that first pick, because again, it's something you don't see much, so maybe they weren't really sure how to go understand it, but I think they're now way more prepared as they go down to the blaster. But I think they were definitely more prepared for that overextension, and they were able to prepare for that. They didn't really lose a member to the blaster here, though again, we don't know, as that the blaster, as you said, overextended.
Yeah, the blaster did a good job holding snipe there, and CIA not quite recognized it in time, but they were looking to set up right side, which could have been deadly. We see a bomb rush coming out for Killjoys, maybe a little bit early, but 3 other specials ready, and they're going to be able to chain them. They're going to find a pick on the K-Pro, the blob looking to get rid of the mini in snipe, as they look to push left side, possibly.
And here we see the Booyah bomb come from the left as the blaster goes down again. So I definitely think CIA is recognizing the blaster threat and are doing a slightly more passive approach as to not get into the blaster's kill range. And then they go more aggressive as soon as that blaster goes down, seeing as the blaster is probably one of the biggest threats on Killjoy to CIA.
Right. CIA popping some special there to get control of mid. They're going to pop armor and missiles. They're going to be able to get some control. Not going to be able to find a pick, though, with both bomb rushes ready for the side of Killjoys. And 2 more specials already. The custom blaster and that remix ready to fire as well. We're going to see the first bomb rush as well as the inkjet from the custom blaster. And they're going to get a nice quick pick on that K-Pro. But beyond bomb rush still ready, they're going to grab Rainmaker here and look to get some momentum.
Yes, and something I noticed that now Killjoys running the same comp from last match. There's no armor on the side of Killjoys.
Sure. An armorless comp is a little bit more dangerous, but I think if you're going to do it in any mode, it's going to be Rainmaker.
Definitely, because armor does have its uses, but I think armor is better used as when you're defending against the Rainmaker than pushing, as a lot of times you have your support take the Rainmaker. Though you could argue, though this could also be the same argument that you can make for double armor comps, as you have the one person use armor to start the push, and then if you have the push going for a while, you can definitely have that second armor user provide armor for your other two defenders. Because even though armor may not be able to go on the Rainmaker carrier, being able to keep your back, if someone goes for the flank on the back line to get the Rainmaker, having that extra protection on, say, your charger or your splatling can possibly help keep the push alive, even if it is for like 1 to 2 more seconds.
Right, so the Blaster get a nice triple kill there, trying to grab the Rainmaker, get some quick points, but they're going to go down, and eventually they're going to be able to respawn, get another pick, and grab the Rainmaker. Now they're looking to get a push through Sponge, try to get some quick points, but the K-Pro on the side of CIA is going to be able to recognize that and get the Sponge low enough that they're not going to be able to find the pick. The Blaster, though, going to look for this pick on the Junior, try to stop the Rainmaker from getting popped, and they're going to ultimately go down on a trade, but that's going to be the armor player down for CIA, going to make a push a little bit harder. The Blob playing super aggressive there. It's going to find a pick on the Rainmaker carrier, making CIA 2 down, and now with this Blob's impressive popping power, they're going to try to get a pop here and possibly more.
Yeah, also something else I noticed, that the Blaster stealth jump did come in a bit handy there, as the Junior was trying to pop the Rainmaker. The Blaster did have that stealth jump to help conceal its jump, so that did give it a bit of the edge, which allowed the trade to happen instead of possibly the Junior or someone calling out the jump for the Blaster to be camped. And here we see CIA
getting a push of their own. They're going to find their Junior is going to go down, unfortunately, but they're going to try to force some points here, just try to get a quick lead. But they're going to end up 2 down. The Mini alone on left side, just with their missiles. Bugala's going to get popped, probably a little hastily from Killjoys. But with 50 seconds left on the clock, they're just going to be able to lock out if they want to. Though they opt to bring the Rainmaker back to mid, possibly trying to extend their lead. They don't feel comfortable with just 59 points.
Yeah, definitely. And here we see the Mini having to jump out, and they look like they're going to be starting a right push. Here, as we lose the Junior again. Again, armor may not be as important in Rainmaker, but you still, that pain power that the Junior allows is just as important. Here we see a delayed wipe, or yeah, 3 down on the side of Killjoys, and this is going to basically be CIA's last push, as all of the members of Killjoys have to jump in on that left side. So,
right. I mean, it looked like for a moment there that was going to be some momentum for CIA, but with both of the specials popping Killjoys on their respawn, they probably didn't have any special charge ready, but instead CIA is going to go down with this Rainmaker and just not going to be able to get an overtime here, and the second game is going to go to Killjoys, but certainly a bit more back and forth than what we saw in that first game, which was just complete domination from Killjoys.
Yeah, so something I also noticed by Killjoys, I'm not sure if this was intentional or not, but once they got the lead by going to the left, they instantly dropped down and started taking Sponge. Yes, there were a lot of enemies down, and they unfortunately got picked off by the K-Pro, but that was also a pretty smart move to, again, prevent that weird, awkward situation of it being stopped and left. Because if you can get lead by going to the left, that will force the opponents to also have to go left, which can be easier to defend by default, and cause that awkward situation of the Rainmaker getting caught up there.
For sure, but we have a couple more matches here. Slotzones on Mako Mart is next. I think with the comp,
if there's no slosher, I feel on Splatzone's Mako Mart, then I'm gonna be a little shocked, because it's zones on Mako Mart, like it's a slosher's home.
Right, if Killjoys is set on keeping that Blob and keeping that Blaster, it might actually work out for them here, especially with all the stacks. You know, you can play with that Blaster using that burst damage past that buoy and mid, along with the Blob controlling those right and left sides, the breakfasts or alleys, whatever you want to call them. Just can do an excellent job locking out on this map and controlling snipe as well. So here we go. We see the team starting to ready up. From CIA, though, they're gonna have to get their head in their game. They weren't quite able to get the lead they needed, instead of getting locked out, but their mid game was pretty strong. It's just their pushing had a little bit of trouble here, so assuming they can get cap and get the wipe they need, locking out might be possible for them.
Yeah, and again, if Killjoy runs no armor and CA continues to run armor, where zones and armor mix really well here, I think armors and zones probably mix the best, especially because of how lockout-based zones is. I can definitely see the advantage instantly going to CIA as long as Killjoy does not opt the armor, and then again, armor is a Blaster's biggest counter.
Sure. So here we go. Splatzone's Mako Mart. Killjoy's up 2-0 in a set against CIA. CIA opting for the exact same comp as they did last time. Same with Killjoys. So we're going to have a little bit of deja vu moment with these weapons, but possibly a better start here for CIA. The K-Pro and Nautilus looking to get a control of left side, where Killjoys goes straight for zone, gonna get the quick cap and immediately pressuring that left stack. The Junior kind of left alone trying to paint for armor, but their Nautilus is gonna go down before they can get their Inkjet ready. And now it's just the Junior's job to stay alive here and try to get some paint on zone, but the K-Pro's gonna go down, and now they're down in a 2v4.
Yeah, so this is definitely a very aggression-based match for Killjoys. And yes, the Blob goes down to that mini, and then the Blaster gets that nice little direct. But I do wonder that even with the armor, it seems it is not to face Killjoys. They will go no armor if they don't need to, which is something interesting I find about no armor comps is if a team feels that confident and can prove it, it's going to stay with them that they can use no armor. Now we see the remix go down, which is a big bonus for CIA as a backline. And there goes the blaster. So there's 2 down the side of Killjoys, but that block still has pretty good range and holding power. So they were able to not instantly clap from that down.
Right,
But
so
now
CIA getting another pick in the remix as then Mini is going to be able to move up here, look for the second pick, and this is going to be a stronger lockout, but the Mini alone up here not quite getting the armor ready for them to support it, but somehow CIA is going to find 2 more picks and be able to extend this lockout even longer. Killjoy is hoping to get back in the respawns and get undesynced. The Inkjet ready for that blaster, looking to push back into zone. So is the Booyah, but with their Splash-O-Matic going down and just the bomb rush there, it's going to be a little bit harder to push back into zone. 20 ticks left for the side of CIA if they want to be able to take lead here.
Yes, and I don't know, it's another thing is this is also the mini that CIA is using is actually the Zinc mini, so that's a little interesting. Now 2 ticks up, so it looks like he's going to go to CIA as it's a 3 down situation for the side of Killjoys. If CIA can hold this a bit longer, then this is just this is going to be a free knockout, and we'll be moving on to a game 6, which is already makes me even excited.
Right, we see the Booyah coming out for just the last ditch ever try to paint zone, but the teammate's not going to be able to come out soon enough. We saw CIA there on that lockout, just finding the picks they need, taking advantage of Killjoys overextending, and without, like, there was nothing to it. CIA went from 100 to 0, putting themselves on the board, taking a victory, and looking now to turn this 2-0 into a 5-2.
Yes, so I definitely think that this is going to be very interesting. I definitely think both comps were very good picks, but I think that armor again did play a bit of a factor into this, as armor is one of the best specials in the meta currently. Though speaking of the meta, something very interesting is that the real meta weapons, kind of in a way, at least for zones, we're seeing is really Splash and that K-Pro. Nautilus can be a bit of an argument for the meta because of how things are played, but if you're looking at it from a zones only perspective, Nautilus isn't that really high in the meta, but in the other nodes, Nautilus is pretty good. So really, if you're talking about like zones in that situation, the only real meta weapons we kind of saw were the Junior, the K-Pro, and the Splash.
But there you go, the meta. It's almost like it's not the most important feature. You know, with that double bomb rush on the side of Killjoys, their tapping power is brilliant along with the Booyah, but they just couldn't quite get them together and use them together. So, you know, strategy prevails, getting those good pushes as a team in matter, and giving your opponent space and backing up and possibly even giving them the lead if it means getting your specials ready and pushing as a team is worth it. We saw at the very end there, it was a desperation push, but it looked like Killjoys was finally 4 up on the board with the Booyah ahead of them. It looked like they might have been able to tackle zone with just a couple more seconds. But that's the difference between an unlucky pick and an ability to stay alive. But a Clown Blitz on the Reef, what are your thoughts here?
Seeing as neither team is has a charger, there's sadly not going to be a Bamboo, which makes me a little sad as well. As a Bamboo, yes, it's an MPU weapon. Bamboo on the Reef, despite MPU, no MPU, it's still a pretty good comp map mode. Really still a good map for the weapon.
Right, you know, the Blob can do a great job controlling top mid, so even without that Bamboo, you know, they certainly have the tools and resources they need to control it. CIA, though, with their double Splatling comp that we've seen basically all day, that might be able to pay off for them here as well, being able to find these flanks and with the Nautilus's Inkjet being able to control Car from a push. But again, it's just a matter of how well these teams can play off of one another and play into their opponent's mistakes. But here we go. A Blob and a custom Splatling on the side of Killjoys. Or sorry, the Deco Splatling, not a custom. And that's going to give them bubbles, which is going to be able to help them on a push and maybe sustain it for a little bit longer. CIA getting this armor charge here early, being able to pop it and looking to control top mid.
Yeah, but something very interesting is that the Deco does not have the ability to access bomb combo, so we're going to see the bubbles kind of used more how it's intended to, meant to like control space and like protection. And here we kind of see here we saw the Mini go down to the blaster, and there's already 3 specials ready on the side of Killjoys.
Right, Junior's going to get collapsed on there and right tree, and as Killjoys is able to put a ball together, they're going to be able to get a first push going. Both bomb rushes coming out at once, trying to control an area. The Inkjet using its distance and try to find picks. They're going to find one on the custom Splatling and another one on the blaster, but that's going to be about it. It's going to be enough, though, to stop Killjoys from getting more clams and as the Splatling respawns, and they're going to end up in a 3-down situation as Killjoys or CIA looks to get their own push.
Yeah, so this is definitely going to be a push going, but because of that wall there, an excellently placed wall by the Deco Splatling, and we can definitely see counter push happening, and then the blaster goes down as they overextended a bit. And here, this is definitely gonna be a push going. To see the Deco trying to use those bubbles, but it's not going to be enough. And the Pro even got a pick with the Booyah Bomb, which is impressive.
We saw the armor inkjet combo open up the field there as Sea.I.A's Booyah came in afterwards to clean up the Booyah, or clean up the Splatling. And they're going to be able to get all the way down to 40 ticks with the K-Pro being the last one alive. And they're going to go down a little bit, unfortunately. But 40 ticks is a demanding lead, especially when put next to just the mere single ball Killjoys was able to put in on their push. But now the Blaster's going to move up here and try to find a pick and open up the field again.
Yeah, so definitely you're going to see a lot of these inkjet combos. Again, with the inkjet armor is the bread and butter of special combos in this game. And there's nothing more perfect than armor inkjet. Maybe armor stamp, but that's debatable.
Both teams are going to end up in a 2-down situation here, and so it's an even strength, and missiles coming out. It's going to give Sea.I.A even a little bit of an advantage here as they look to stop Killjoys from moving in and take advantage of their little bit of an overextension here possibly with this ball. Bubbles are going to come out though, and that's going to be enough to support the Splatling and to get in the ball in. But no, the Junior's going to find a beautiful, or the K-Pro's going to find a beautiful pick on that ball, but Killjoy's going to be able to follow up with both balls getting them in. Not quite enough to get lead, and Sea.I.A is going to have to find some picks here if they want to stop it. But there is lead for the side of Killjoys as 3 down going down on Sea.I.A.
Yeah, that was an amazing push. We thought it was just going to be stopped with the bubbles, but it seems they were able to pop it. Oh, we see them starting to go down, but the Blob is just holding that, trying to keep the barrier open as long as possible. And now we see it's 17-41. Now, here we have with the penalty system, the whole, even if Sea.I.A gets that, oh, that was unfortunate that they weren't able to get a free pity. But even with, if they throw in that pity clamp, or if they throw in one that they make, they still have to throw in a few extra clamps to even get rid of the penalty.
Right, but here we go. We have armor and inkjet ready, and they're going to come out together looking for an opening pick. A good way to start a push here. They see that Killjoy is a little bit out of position. They're kind of focusing right side, and we just have the Nautilus or the K-Pro there watching it, making sure that they don't get a flank in as Sea.I.A looks to try to get a ball in, but they're first going to prioritize getting this pick on this blaster, making sure they don't have an inkjet for defense. Now moving up and back into top mid and controlling mid.
I think the Blaster and the Blob, I think, are the two more dominant threats for Sea.I.A, as if those two go down, that can be a push. Yes, you do have the backline power of a Splatling, but even then, if just the commanding paint power of the Blob and the pressure with those bubbles, combined with the presence of a Blaster that can be everywhere, that's just, those two alone are just scary to try and deal with. And then you have the bomb rush from the Blob, and which can get pretty fast.
Sea.I.A a little bit discombobulated. They're not going to be able to take advantage of the Booyah that came out to stop those bubbles. But generally, they're just trying to get some momentum going. Still have a minute left on the clock, but you got to assume they're feeling a little bit anxious. The Junior going down, separated from the Mini there, and that's going to give Killjoys another opportunity to push back in and open basket. Their Splatling is going to end up going down, which is going to get rid of their bubbles, which is their big deciding factor on pushes, but they're going to be able to open blaster or open basket through a nice little flank there. More clams coming in from below.
Yeah, and the sprinkler placement is also kind of good, because if they need to try and throw in a few more sneaky clams, it does provide that little bit of extra pain. Speaking of those sneaky clams, we see that the Deco going down was able to reset the entire barrier time. But now we see 3 down situation, we have technically a delayed wipe. So now this is going to be Sea.I.A's last possible push. They have to make this push count, or it's going to be.
There we go. We see the first ball going in early. We see the inkjet being popped with the ball, which is a little bit unfortunate, possibly a miscommunication there. But they're going to hopefully be able to move back in here, get some more clams, and keep the basket open. They're going to get the ball. Going 3 down, though, and just the Mini on that respawn. They're going to have to really push and hold this forward if they want to make anything happen. But this ball's going to die, and that's going to be the end of the game.
Even if the ball didn't die, because they had opened the barrier, it would have been when the barrier closes that overtime ended.
Sure. I mean, of course, but just some nice last-ditch effort there, trying to get the push in. A little bit miscommunication possibly in that mid-game, not being able to really quite push in with having 3 balls at one point and not having the specials and the opportunities to take advantage. But overall, I think Sea.I.A did a good job out-picking and out-playing Killjoys. Just their defense not quite there enough, and that's going to give Killjoys a 3-1.
3-1. And something interesting I've yet to notice, because of all the other chaos happening on, was that the K-Pro on the side of Sea.I.A is using Object Shredder, which means they don't have a lot of those secondary subs. If anything, I think the only secondary subs they would be able to have is Ink Res and Bomb Defense, which are still very good subs, but you're sacrificing the possibility of 2 subs swim speed are 2 subs of Ink Saver main, which could provide you a little bit more mobility and a few more shots.
So here we go. Tower Control and Inkblot Art Academy. We open the set with Killjoy's just a demanding force on that Starfish Tower. CIA, though, gonna look for here to possibly beat him at their own mode and take their own demanding lead.
Yeah, that is true. Something interesting I also want to point out is they have a Splatling user on the side of Killjoys. Didn't really say this on the side of main stage, or the other Rainmaker, but no Stingray has been pulled out yet.
Sure. Which is certainly surprising, especially for Rainmaker and that tower, as you said, but I don't think necessarily it's the best special to use on Inkblot Art Academy. It feels a little bit of a squashed map on that plat, so possibly not being enough room for the Splatling without jumping out, and that takes him out of the play a little bit. So I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see that pick possibly being utilized as much as it would be otherwise.
Yeah, but seeing that Blackbelly Rainmaker is coming up, if we do get to Blackbelly Rainmaker and there is no Stingray, I'm actually going to have questions for both of these two teams as to why on Blackbelly Rainmaker, the one map where a Stingray is basically a necessity, I find.
Here we go. CIA is going to be looking for that. They're hungry for it with the 1-3 in this set right now. They're going to need to get a couple more wins in if they want to be able to take the set and get to that 5-match win. We're going to get going here.
Yeah, that's what I said. It doesn't matter what the score is. It's not over until someone gets to those. So it says 5-X or X-5, meaning whoever has 5 and whatever the other team has. It's not over until we see that happen.
Here we go. We see a remix coming out on the side of Killjoys, opting for that remix pick being beneficial to the Blob, and a Hydra coming out on the side of CIA, going for this double armor.
Have a Zap coming from on Killjoys in place of the Blob. Seems they're actually using the armor, which actually is, I'm a little bit happy about in a way, because now we get to see some armor v armor action, I find. And
with double on the side of CIA, it's going to be a little bit stronger for them. Somehow, I guess, predicting the armor pick on the side of Killjoys. But we're back to even strength after a couple early picks. And the Zap now looking to make some opportunities here, because they're going to go down in an overextension in 3v1. The Zap on the side of CIA looking to make some action themselves, but overextending. And now the Remix is going to come out with this Booyah armor ready on the side of CIA. Another Bomb Rush ready on the side of Killjoys if they want to use it. And now Killjoys is up 3-2 there with just armor and Inkjet ready on the side of CIA.
Yeah, they just tapped the tower to give him the quick lead, which is not, you can't fault before. Just any lead is better, especially on this map. Starting out with any lead is better than not having a lead at all. We see that in Ink Armors, and there's the Inkjet. And this is going to basically be a battle towards the end. Unless this is like, it can be a very strong starting match. Push, this is definitely going to be a push that's not good. We're not going to see, be able to say who's going to be the victor until the end.
But the Inkjet not finding a pick there, but somehow the Splashmatic is going to go down, followed by the Remix. And that's going to leave CIA the opportunity to move the tower, get a Booyah coming out, and look for some picks. They're going to opt to throw that Booyah by the wall, try to open up the turf by the tower first checkpoint. But they're going to end up going 2 down on the tower there, and that's going to give Killjoys an opportunity to play some defense and find a third pick somehow.
Yeah, so now we have the case of the 3 down, possibly a delayed wipe now. And now, remind me again, isn't there a little way to get up on this map for tower control?
There is. The block on the far right, the Zap's going to take advantage of that, and they're going to find a pick.
I know.
But they're going to get called out here, and the Nautilus is going to be able to take care of them. Nautilus is going to be able to find another pick on the Splash-O-Matic, giving the game to a 2-2 situation, though. Booyah ready on the side of Killjoys, and they're going to be able to pop it. Armor's going to come out for CIA, just be able to hold a little bit longer. The Inkjet ready, but Killjoys is going to be able to pop theirs first and expand their lead all the way past the second checkpoint.
Maybe. Or not.
Very close to it, though, certainly, and that's going to be...
So they already have the advantage, though, I would say.
Right, a good force by CIA, but they're going to ultimately, unfortunately, go 3 down at the end of that push, leaving Killjoys the opportunity to re-grab tower here and push farther. Not quite being able to get through that second checkpoint, but it's certainly being on the horizon here from the side of Killjoys.
Yeah. I definitely can see why they're opting for the armor now, because of that plat. Plat and armor is kind of why. This is also another reason why you might be seeing double armor counts on this map a lot as well, because of plat. As plat is the biggest, is basically the rest of the map and the main part of the fighting.
Right, as you say that, Armor is going to come out for CIA, and they're going to find a pick on the Zap. And their Booyah is going to come out. It's going to not find any picks, but 2 are going to go down on the side of CIA, just leaving the Armor weapons alive there, as Killjoy is going to be able to retake tower, push through that right side cut, and try to take control. We saw one little bit of overextension from that Splash-O-Matic on the far right. They're going to go down to the Zap player, and the Remix is left alone on tower, and they're going to have to back up, leaving just one of them alive, just the Blaster on Plat, and they're going to go down to the Nautilus. So CIA again, once again looking to control mid and find another push.
Yeah, so it's definitely control mid. Because the CIA first is trying to get past that first checkpoint to try and get to start a comeback. And like I said, this whole thing of that second checkpoint, if a team gets past the second checkpoint, unless both teams can get past the second checkpoint, whoever has most of the second checkpoint or can pass it is almost guaranteed to win this match.
Right, but what's important there is to get that, you have to get the control of play. You have to be able to move up and you have to find the picks. And that's something Killjoy has done excellently through that right side cut. And they're going to be, again, with 1 minute left on the clock, just keep applying this pressure. Find another pick on this Nautilus and continue pushing, holding this constant aggression.
Yeah, something interesting about the Blasters, I think people, since you don't really see Blasters a lot, unless you have a Blaster player, I feel, or know someone that or like if one of your scrim partners constantly uses a blaster, people tend to forget the range of the blaster. It may not have that much range. I think it has less range than a normal splatter shot, but that blast radius people can tend to forget about. And as I say that, the blast try to jump back, basically doing the equivalent of a full wipe as all the rest of members of Killjoy.
CIA is going to find a triple kill. The Nautilus finding another one on this respawn. 2 on this respawn. And the Inkjet's going to come out trying to find this last pick on this one in back. So they're going to find that's another wipe for the side of CIA.
Another wipe. Oh my gosh, can we see
and they're going to be able to move back up here and take another. They're going to be able to try to push this tower that's kind of bouncing around there, 2 up there. But look at all this paint they're able to have, even though they're not really having a player controlling the plat area. But they're going to be able to possibly take a lead here, get through the checkpoint, and push even farther.
It's 2 down on the side of the Killjoys, and that's the game. Just like that. What happened? We were just talking about what?
Right, I mean, CIA finding the wipe they needed and taking the demand and taking that top area. The Nautilus getting some beautiful picks, 1 and 2, and then another. It's what we saw in that Zones Mako game where they got the one pick, they got the other one, and they just kept them desynced long enough to take the lead. And with 30 seconds left on the clock, that was enough for CIA to take lead and hold tower as the timer count down.
What? Okay, that was amazing. So yay, we get this basically guarantees Black Belly Scale Maker. But what actually happened? I wasn't really paying attention, and I just see basically a full wipe happen against Killjoys, and then CIA takes the lead. Just because there's 30, as I always say, until you see those game ribbon, the game is not over. Just like the set isn't over until a team gets the number of wins required.
Right, we saw Killjoys a little bit of an overextension with that super aggression, just holding the tower, trying to push it even farther every single moment they had. But that ended up backfiring on them. They ended up 3 down. The Blaster having to jump out with their Inkjet ready. And CIA was able to capitalize on that. The Nautilus and one other taking control of that snipe area and taking the picks they needed, ending up with 2 wipes there in the span of like 30 seconds, able to push that tower through second checkpoint and take the lead. So just a demanding, even without using that right side cut, they were able to get the wipes they needed, and Killjoys ultimately had a little bit of too much of a feed there and was able to give the picks to CIA. With Splatzone's humpback pump track on the horizon here, we're going to be able to see. Right, we're going to be able to see some possibly new comps and possibly the return of that remix on the side of CIA, which we haven't seen since the first 2 matches.
I would not actually be surprised if we see Aerospray. I kid you not. I remember there was a tournament set where the enemy team put out an Aerospray in humpback pump track zones. We still won, but it was still, it's humpback pump track. This is where
again, the comps matter less as long as your team is up for it and they know how to play around it. So these Booyah spam and this control of mid is going to be what's going to determine the game. And with what we saw in Zones Mako Mart, it's going to be a challenge for Killjoys if they're not able to take a quick lead and a quick win.
Yeah, and another thing that people may think about Booyah is they always yell about is paint. Yes, it can paint and help with zones. It's not the Splatoon 1 ink strike in terms of paint. Is it technically what Splatoon 2 is equivalent of the ink strike? You could technically say yes, but the Splatoon 1 ink strike was meant for very strong power and could paint. The Booyah bomb is more of temporary lockout area.
But here
I
we
would
go. We
say.
see CIA painting for this quick armor. Killjoys are turning to an armorless comp. But the CIA, they're gonna find a quick pick on CIA's K-Pro. The armor's still coming out though for some reason. The Nautilus is gonna go down, just leaving the Remix and the Junior alive. The Remix with Booyah. The Junior's gonna be able to jump out here and try to reclaim. Here we go. Here's the first cap going for Killjoys, trying to get this first lead. The Blob looking to control the right side here, but the Remix calling them out and being able to find them and force them backwards.
Yeah, and we see the Booyah bomb. But was the bomb rush going? I'm not sure if that was a planned or a panic. What happened with the Booyah throw? But another thing is Booyah bombing, the double Booyah versus the double bomb rush. I don't think you can count out the bomb rush. Like people may think bomb rush is good, but Booyah bomb shredded through all those bombs. So if they can, if they can do those double Booyahs right, not only could they stall out said bomb rushes, but they can absolutely nullify it by destroying all of those suction bombs.
So here we go. We're going to see CIA go, unfortunately, one down again. The K-Pro on that respawn, but with the Inkjet and armor ready, and Killjoys popping their specials probably possibly a little bit prematurely. We're going to see CIA get an opportunity to move back in. The Junior's going to get found, though, in this bunker area, just leaving the Blob and the Nautilus in a 1v1. The Nautilus is going to be able to jump out, and Killjoys is going to be able to expand their lead, knocking through those penalty points like they're nothing.
Yeah, I think this is definitely a strong lockout showing on the side of Killjoys. And here we might see the looks like the remix went down to the Killjoy remix, and it looks like unless CIA is gonna have to push now.
There's the armor. Booyah coming out though on the side of Killjoys. CIA is gonna have to do everything they can to get into this zone, and they're not gonna be able to in time. I mean, if CIA was able to cap there, they would have been able to have that strong lockout we saw originally. But their big detriment here, I think, throughout all these games, the story that has been told is just a struggle to get back into zone and really break back in.
That's true. Another thing you have to find is, another thing I'm also noticing is that there's a lot of situations where that Junior is caught off alone. You don't want your support to be alone most of the time. They really want them to be off alone when they're trying to get paint, or maybe they're respawning and they're going off a bit on their own to get the armor. But a lot of this, it's a team-based game. So I'm not saying that there's a team, they're not playing team-based, because there's obviously coordination with the specials. But even when it comes down to the fighting, a 2v1 is obviously better than to fight with as the two than a 1v1, especially if it's a Junior.
Yeah, but I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with the Junior leaving to paint armor. I think there's just generally a struggle with understanding the purpose of the specials and when to use them. I think we saw the Booyahs coming out there hoping to just try to get a quick cap of zone, but Killjoy's being able to paint over it, which is what you said with the Ink Strike versus Booyah in Splatoon 1 versus 2. But I mean, I think just generally CIA not finding the opening picks they need to move back into the zone. Killjoy is doing a good job staying alive. But as we move into Rainmaker on Blackbelly Skate Park, that might not be the case.
Yeah, so like I said, please show. I mean, if not a Sea.I, please show a Stingray. So, come on, this is like one of those map modes combos with that. It's like there's like certain. I find there might be like quote certain standards that have to happen with team comps.
Sure, but even then, I mean, we've seen Killjoys just deny any resemblance of meta comps with this custom blaster and the blob for most of their games here. So, not necessarily. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see them go for these standard picks. But I think CIA is having that conversation right now as their backline not quite readying up yet as everyone else does.
That is true, and even if not, you have the regular heavy, which has the sprinkler, so you can probably throw in a bit of special charge because the sprinkler can somewhat paint, and you got the Stingrays. So anyways, it looks like we're getting into the match 7, is it? And match point, or set point for the side of Killjoys, and no Stingray. I am actually shocked, while at the same time not shocked after seeing what both teams have been throwing out.
Right, CIA opting for that aggressive comp that we've seen for them with that mini with missiles. They're gonna look like both these teams are gonna have a fight for a pop, and it's gonna go to Killjoys quite easily. And they're gonna immediately extend and find that pick on the 52 gal. CIA opting to back up here and try to regroup, wait for this respawn. The blob's gonna go down on the side of Killjoys, but the bomber's ready for Killjoys. They're gonna try to push this a little bit to the left side. The Nautilus already set up there to try to find the pick along with the Junior behind them.
Speaking of, there's a Junior on the side of Killjoys.
Right,
So we know
fast armor weapon from them. And Rainmaker again, we see the blob coming out there, pressuring this Nautilus in the top left here. The Inkjet's gonna come out there trying to find these nice picks to open up the map here. The Blaster not really having the resources there to survive, and they're gonna get overloaded by the Nautilus. But the 52 gal is gonna go down. Now the blob on the side of Killjoy is gonna look for a flank and possibly try to grab this Rainmaker and get some nice momentum going. Finding a pick on the Junior, but the Nautilus is gonna call him out and get the pick.
Yeah, another thing interesting is I think they would say they got a third of the way through half pipe, but look at the score. 95. Half pipe is one of those weird pushes where you can get a lot of points, but you basically have to go through the entire half pipe to get the set points. And that can cause a slightly awkward situation, but not as awkward, and there's the instant lead loss. But
we saw the Nautilus going off there a little bit, finding 2 picks and opening the field for CIA to grab Rainmaker and get some ping control. The Bomber's just going to come out, and CIA is just going to opt to try to run through it and get some points. They're going to get all the way on to 53, which is decent as long as they can defend their ramp on defense. The Junior here backing up as well, but their team set up here to try to continue their push, assuming they get this jump back in. Armor's going to come out inside of Killjoys, and they're going to use that to collapse on top of the Mini, but they're going to also have to race a bomb rush on it, and that's going to make it a little bit more difficult for Killjoys to get a push here without their specials.
Yeah, and I also find it interesting that Killjoys picked up that when it was just about to reset. I think they could have gone for the reset, but it seems as they're now in a 3v3 situation, so picking up might have been good. But in a way, you can also call it a 2v2 situation as there goes the Rainmaker. As I was about to say, the Rainmaker can't 100% defend itself as well as some people may think it can.
CIA doing a good job calling out that Blaster there, and the Mini's going to be able to find the pick as they're going to pop missiles here on left side to try to call them out and get rid of them. The Nautilus is going to try to take advantage of it, but they're going to ultimately go down. But here we go. We see Killjoy's a little bit out of position here, set up on left side, waiting for that left side push, but CIA is able to pull it right and try to get some points on the board. But the Junior is just forced to dance around here at the Rainmaker and gets collapsed on by everyone on Killjoys. And now it's back to a 4v2 situation, this time with Killjoys with their special ready, opting to, or hoping to try to get some momentum there.
Yeah, there's the armor. Will we see an Inkjet? Nope, we see it. Oh, they did use the Inkjet, but instantly got canceled. So now we see a 3v3 situation going on here, and it looks like they're trying to push up for the Killjoys. If that Nautilus isn't careful, then they could take out the blob.
Nautilus finding a nice pick on his flank. They're going to look for another one. They're going to pull out the Inkjet. They're going to get one with the Inkjet. Now just looking for this blob pick to get a triple. Now, there we go. The Nautilus goes down, and the blob goes down, and CIA is going to look to grab a Rainmaker here and get another push going, trying to expand their lead. Their Junior's going to grab it, popping armor with it. Missiles coming out as well, and they're going to look for this half-pipe push. A little bit slower, a little more collective, but an opportunity to get serious points, as you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, can get serious points. I also find that Inkjet here is probably one of the best specials to have on defense when a team is pushing half pipe. Because of its blast radius, even though special power can increase it, I think just the 2 subs that people tend to run with that special power up is also very good to help with the half pipe push, because it can just lock out the Rainmaker and just cause a lot of chaos, I find, in the half.
A little bit ironic, as you said, that the Blaster went down on the side of Killjoys, but it wasn't a problem for them. They were able to get the wipe and now push up. The suction bomb rush coming out. The blob looking for this pick on the Nautilus, but the Nautilus is going to be able to win the 1v1. And now the Inkjet coming out, which we've seen demand respect earlier, and with Booyah as well coming out, they're going to be able to find this Rainmaker pick, get a 2-down situation, and with 1 minute left on the map, CIA has an opportunity to lock out here and just deny Killjoys an opportunity to push.
That is true. But again, 53 and 71. At 53, I do not find to be a safe lead on this one. And CIA is making it look like a safe lead, but it's on Blackbelly. I do not find 53 to be I would say under 30 is a safe lead on Blackbelly.
That said, look, they had some serious map control, and while the blob was able to push up here and the Rainmaker was able to reset, I mean, there's 30 seconds left on the clock, and CIA, all they have to do is find some picks and deny Killjoys the opportunity to grab Rainmaker. And with this wall here at mid, the blob is having trouble finding any opportunities. The 52, though, backing up. They're going to go down to the blob, which is a bit unfortunate, losing their Nautilus as well, which has been the defining defense feature. And with the Inkjet and armor coming out on the side of Killjoys, they're going to try to force it. But the Mini finding a beautiful flank. They're going to go down. With 6 seconds left, they have to grab it instantly here and not die again. And there they go. They died. 2 seconds left on the clock. That's going to be another win for CIA. Not tying the set quite yet, but making it 3-4, opening the door for a comeback win.
Yeah, so something I've also noticed, the Nautilus is a key feature for CIA. Something I've also noticed today. I think they've been knocking down that Nautilus a lot in the wins they've been doing. But every time CIA has gotten a victory, I think that Nautilus has been the dominating feature. So, but on the side of Killjoys, they need to be careful. They have to be wary of that blaster just to make sure that it does not catch them off guard. But the Blob is the main defense of Killjoys, and then the Nautilus is the main defense on the side of CIA. So those are, I think, are the two priorities that each team should be careful of. They need to be wary of where those two are. They need to know where their opponent's main power is, being the Blob or the Knot, and have to take that down first. I think they're even more important than the support in some cases, because even with that support down, if a Nautilus can get a triple, who cares if the support is down?
Right, but it is still set point for Killjoys here. So all they have to do is take one more game in the next two. But CIA hungry for this next win on Clamblet, Snapper, Canal. They might be going up against some trouble here with this Blob being able to control the street so well.
Yes, but then again, this is also Snapper Canal. I think this is a pretty good missile map. So with that mini, we're going to see some missiles because again, this is another good bamboo map, and bamboo missile is pretty good. Special main weapon combo, I find, as it helps.
We have not seen the bamboo come out from either of these teams, so I think that would be a surprise to both of us.
That would be a surprise.
We've seen CIA alternating between that mini and backline and kind of treating them 50-50, I think. So I'm interested to see if they're going to opt for that mini with missiles to break out or keep the remix with that Booyah, trying to hold a little bit longer of a lockout.
Oh yeah, but if they go K-Pro, then they could use the K-Pro for the Booyah bomb and then have the mini for the missiles. So there's a lot of
options for sure.
They have. I definitely think Killjoys has not that many options. They've been treating, and that's something else I think is a problem on the side of Killjoys, because they're using the same comp so much. They're seeing the habits. If you can see those habits of those players, you can stop anything.
You say problem, but they are on set point one more time. So here we go. 3-4.
They are on set point, but you saw how
in favor of
dominating.
Killjoys as we move into Clamplets, Snapper, Canal. CIA looking to get 2 more wins and be able to have a comeback win here. We see the again, which we saw in one of the climb spots from Killjoys before, the custom splatling with those bubbles, being able to pop them from pretty far away and use them effectively. But there's a Stingray splatling on the side of CIA for the first time we see a Stingray.
Okay, I know it's still a Stingray, but like, I honestly forget that this map can also use Stingray, and there goes the K-52 instantly, and the Nautilus.
Along with the Nautilus. And so this is Killjoys getting a nice, quick couple picks here that they're putting clouds together, and they're able to get a quick ball. And so here we go. They're going to look to try to open up the snipe area, get that pick in, and get the ball in. They're going to be able to throw a wall down and try to use it to protect themselves, but 2 of them are going to go down, losing the inkjet that they know so well. And 3 down, and that's going to be a full delayed wipe in favor of CIA. They're going to be able to get a pity clam here, get some map control, and now possibly be in an advantageous position from where they were on Killjoys' push.
Yep, and there's the armor, there's the Booyah bomb. We see armor coming out. We might see inkjet coming out soon. As so we're probably, and as here we see a wall. There's the Stingray number 1.
And they're using it effectively. They're gonna use it to weaken that. They're gonna use it to weaken that custom blaster. And as they set up from left side, they're gonna be able to go through this bunker area and try to get a pick. The Splash-O-Matic kind of out of position there, being backed up by the Booyah. They're gonna be able to open the basket. They're gonna end up going 3 down. Just the K-52 alive. They're gonna be able to get 1 clam in there and be able to take the lead, though it's not secure for sure.
Not secure, but saying that you have the lead can cause you to breathe, give you a bit of breathing room. Even though 1 pity clam is all it takes to take the lead back for the side of Killjoys. Again, it's a case where both teams can get a power clam in, and the lead is theirs again.
Sure, but here we go. We see Killjoys doing exactly what we saw CIA do last time. Set up on left side, get some picks, find the openings, but their Splash-O-Matic is going to go down a little bit, unfortunately. The Spotting's gonna find a nice fall-off kill, popping bubbles here, using them through that wall, and they're gonna be able to get a ball together here, and possibly look to get a push going and a distraction.
Looks like it's gonna be an ink rail push.
Right, taking a risky ink rail push. They're gonna get both power clams in. The Stingray coming out for defense is gonna find 3 picks, just leaving the custom blaster alive who's in that inkjet, and they're gonna have to back up if they want to stay alive. They're gonna take a trade on the 52 gal. Right, that trade is definitely a good trade for them. Getting that 52 gal is going to get rid of that Booyah, which has been nice for CIA on these pushes. But their Spotling is going to be able to set up here on left side, hoping for some teammate support. But they're going to end up having to back up here without anyone really coming to help them. But holding this left hill is going to be super important for them, I think. Being able to use their range, use those sprinklers, use that Stingray even from this position can be deadly on this push.
Yeah, and there goes the Splash, kind of overextending it. You gotta respect Splatling's range. They may not have the range of a Charger, but you still gotta respect its range.
3 specials ready for CIA. That Inkjet Booyah combo can be pretty deadly, along with that Stingray from farther away. And they have the balls ready that Stingray can be popped.
There goes
the Nod is going to find an unlucky down, but the Armor and Inkjet, Armor, Stingray, and Booyah are going to come out here, which is going to give a little bit of breathing room for CIA to possibly move in here. The 52 trying to find a pick in this ramp area before their teammates, but they're going to ultimately go down in a 3v2. And now CIA is stuck in kind of an awkward 2v4 situation, trying to find picks. The spot lane is going to win the 1v1. So the Splash is going to go down to the Nautilus there. And just two players alive in that bunker area. The Nautilus is able to walk in and kind of clean up, and they're going to find a triple kill, just leaving that to delay. And 3 clams are going to go in along with the junior here with more clams ready to follow it up. But the going to end up going down to the spotting line. That's going to end up a wipe in the favor of Killjoys.
Yo, this is intense. Oh my gosh, are we going to see? This is intense. I'm not saying anything. No commentators cursing coming from me. But things are looking very strong in this match. I think this has been one of the most exciting sets I've seen in a while.
A beautiful push from CIA, but they're going to have to get their nerves down as the Nautilus goes a little bit overextending there, going down on this flank. We see the blob coming around sneaky and getting a setup and snipe, which is going to be deadly if they can hold it. The Inkjet coming out to support it along with a bomb rush, and the jump with the ball is going to go down, but they're going to find a double kill on CIA and try to get this ball in, but no, the spot thing is going to, or the Nautilus is going to be able to hold that top left area and find a pick on the ball.
Like I said, that Nautilus is the defense. They probably forgot about them taking it out and it was going to be respawning soon. So that Nautilus was to be able to get just in time to prevent that push from going. And now all Killjoy's got CIA has to do is defend for 30 seconds and some extra change because of overtime.
We saw the spot lane setting up on their hill, which is what you want to see, but they ultimately go down on a 3v4. But Special's ready for CIA. They're probably going to try to hold them here just for 20 seconds, take a lead, and try to tie up this set. The bomb's coming out, just the bomb spam from the junior in this kind of goal area. Killjoy's going to have to get a lot of points on the board if they want to take this lead in one single push.
Yep, and
they're going to find this pick on this blob, hopefully. The blob is going to get a nice pick on the junior, but the Inkjet coming out is going to find a pick on the blob. They're going to end up in a 2v2 situation, though. 2v2 situation, they're going to find a pick on the ball carrier. Just leaving the splash chip by the goal, trying to get the second ball in. They're gonna miss, unfortunately, tossing the ball in an awkward situation for CIA, and their CIA just has to stall for another couple seconds as the basket closes, tying the set at 4-4.
4-4. This is it, everyone. Game 9. Oh my gosh, I'm actually excited. Oh boy. Oh, okay.
Right, but CIA, they've shown some demanding pushes. They've shown some beautiful defense in these last two, but it's all gonna come down to this final match. Killjoy's trying to get their heads back in the game, come back into it, and really take this last one back. Opting for that backline, which hasn't treated them the best. I mean, it won them the Clam Blitz game on Reef, but on a map where aggression is king, Snapper Canal, it wasn't enough for them. But Splatzone's Wahoo World is next. What are your thoughts?
Splatzone's Wahoo. Anyone's game. I'm going to make predictions now. We are going to see the Nautilus come back, a junior on CIA. We are going, and those are my 2 definite predictions. In terms of the other 2 weapons, I'm expecting either a remix or possibly the mini coming back. And then for the 4th weapon, who knows what that could be? It could be the K4.
I wouldn't be surprised, though, if we see the remix on the side of CIA using that Booyah, basically single cap game. But as we enter in game 9, I mean, we were able to look back at some of the past results here. The first Splatzone's game on Mako Mark going to side of CIA, they were able to get that cap and deny Killjoys a re-entry. But basically, the exact thing happened on the side of Killjoys and Humpback Pump Track, where Killjoys was able to take an early cap and deny CIA entry. So this feels very much like who can get the unlucky or the fortunate picks, get back into zone, and have a strong lockout.
Yes, and again, this is the whole thing about habits. Because Killjoys has only really ever changed that blob, really, and they've always had that Neo Splash in the Custom Blaster. Because of all knowing that, yes, CIA has been using, even then, CIA has been using some of the same ones. Yes, they've had the Knot, but Knot is more, can be one-tricked, and again, you can never, Knot has, you can probably ask some of your, if you know Knot players, they could probably like show you like 4 different builds where it's only like 3 subs differently, and those 3 subs can make a huge difference in a Knot build.
Right, we see Killjoys on our end readying up really quickly, looking like they know what they're going to do. They have their game plan ready. Their heads are there. CIA taking a little bit longer of a second here, trying to get their comp together, get ready. Probably talking strategy, which is super important, especially in this last game where your nerves are going to get the best of you. And just making sure you have a solid foundation to work off of is going to be important.
I'm definitely going to think which team can keep their calm the most is going to define this. define this last game. It's not even going to be the skill, I think. This is definitely going to be a war of attrition. This Splat Zones, and it's on Splat Zones, the mode of attrition, as I like to also call it, to where who can kind of keep their cool the longest, who can keep their composure. If one team's composure breaks Splat Zones, it's all over. Even if you can be really skilled, if your composure breaks, it's over.
So here we go. Game 9, Sea.I.A versus Killjoys. Splat Zones, Wahoo World. Both of these teams hungry for this win in Div 5 Group C America. Here we go.
Place your bets, everyone. Hydra, Junior, K-Down Knot versus Splash K-Machine. Oh,
that's the first time we've seen it, but a splashdown here can be deadly. Getting a nice cap along with the double bomb rush comp. Killjoys knows so well that might treat them well here in zones. We see quick armor trying to come out here from Sea.I.A.
Double armor, double rush,
and they're going to be able to get the first armor pop. Now looking for picks. They're going to find one on the K-Machine who a little bit overextended in zone. They're going to find another one on Splash-O-Matic as well. And now they're looking to push this remix back all the way into their window.
Also, Killjoy had an early cap already, and we saw the Hydra go down. There goes the back line of Sea.I.A. And we see a jump happening. Oh, that whoever jumped in is very lucky.
We see the Booyah coming out on the side of Killjoys along with the bombers, looking to force zone here from a little bit of a distance. Enemy. But Sea.I.A doing a great job being able to paint over it here, possibly recap zone and expand their lead, even though they're in a 3v4 situation.
And here we have the bombers coming. There goes the Booyah bomb. Oh, two go down. There's the
Booyah's gonna find a nice double kill. The splashdown from the K-Machine coming in, not gonna find a pick. And now it's just them alive on plat with the Splash-O-Matic sharking on left glass. They're gonna get called out by the 52 down. They're gonna get a crucial pick. Now these penalty points taking down just 10 left, 60 left in this game. They're gonna try to get this nice lockout here, forcing this K-Machine to stay back and not overextend. And they're gonna end up in enemy ink a lot. The Booyah bomb and suction bombers coming out on the side of Killjoys, looking to take a recap of zone. But once again, Sea.I.A doing a great job painting over and not letting it go so quickly.
Yeah, something interesting there I find it interesting is why did the machine splash down on the Booyah? They had a teammate there. Splash on the Booyah instantly breaks the armor, and then you had your teammate to finish it off.
Here we go. Sea.I.A being able to get a recap. The Inkjet coming out, trying to terrorize this elbow. 30 ticks left on the clock, just trying to get this lockout. Killjoy's looking on the right side to try to get an opportunity. The remix had called out there, using the Booyah and suction bombers, once again trying to force this zone, but it has not worked for them yet. The Junior, they're a little bit out of position here. They're going to be able to hold cap on zone. 8 ticks left. They're looking to get this. They're getting a pick on the K-Machine, getting another pick on the blob, getting a third pick on the remix. Just the splash alive in zone, and that is a wipe.
That's the game. Sea.I.A come with the major comeback, coming from 2-4 down all the way to 5-4. What a set!
What a beautiful lockout. We saw the same thing on Mega Bar that we saw here. That's going to be a beautiful comeback lead from a 5-2 or 4-2 in favor of Killjoys, ending up in a 5-4 set win for Sea.I.A. What a beautiful game of, what a beautiful match of zones on Wahoo World.
Like I said, as soon after I think once Sea.I.A got down to 50 remaining, we started to see Killjoys fall apart a bit. Credit to them, they did go off meta in so many ways. I will admit, credit to both teams. We did see some nice picks. We saw, you can honestly say it was a bit of meta versus non-meta in this match set.
I'm not even so sure though. Sea.I.A though, they weren't scared to kind of break the meta, go with those weird picks, using the Zinc Mini for a bit. But there you go. Sea.I.A taking LUTI Div 5 America's Week 4 Group C, 5-4 over Killjoys. Let's wrap this baby up. We're gonna look for a raid here on IPL. They are streaming SOS.
Sink or swim time. It's up to you guys. Do you want to sink or are you gonna swim?
Hit soon. Where can people find you?
Yeah, you can find me at Kitsune_White on Twitter. I am also the midline or a CDS player actually on the side of Cephidence. PT Pentagram's Wheel is our streamer, and we have our set tomorrow, but sadly we will not be able to stream it.
All right, you can find me at Brushstrokes WP on some of the socials. Once again, thank you everyone for coming up to Little Squid League's coverage of LUTI. Div 5 America's Sea.I.A are your winner, 5-4 over Killjoys. Let's get this raid going for IPL Splatoon. Thank you everyone so much for watching.
Have a good night or day, and we'll see you in the next match.
Okay.
God damn it.